The country will on Wednesday go on national election to select a party which will give us men and women who will be taking over government in the 7th administration. We thought it would be nice in our province to put together this video, which is about the recent chats we had with all members of the Executive Council, reflecting on the work they have done in the 6th administration. First, challenges.
There has been a lot of challenges. Remember when we started in the 6th administration, we were under Section 100. As a province, as a provincial government, we had other departments who was under Section 100, 1B, others were in the Section 101A, and provincial treasury was part of the municipality, and part of the departments that were under Section 101A. But we had to provide support. You can recall that even appointment of administrators had to come through provincial treasury, where the directive is given by the Minister of Finance, and the MEC for Finance had to ensure that we did those appointments. So it's been quite a long journey where you need to play a balancing act in making sure that you are able to manage the public purse, you ensure that there's compliance and respond to the directives of national government as they have intervened, and ensure that also departments that are under Section 101B strive to move out of that administration. And in the process, there's been contradictions of the tight budget, which actually causes unnecessary dissatisfaction on the ground, because we're under Section 100. And when there's no service delivery, there are challenges that you are being questioned, but you still need to also to make a reference to the Section 100. So that balancing act was one of the issues that were challenges, but one believes that it was not an insurmountable challenge.
We have about 24 municipalities in the Northwest Province, 4 district municipalities and 18 local municipalities. And you will know that we have had a lot of challenges. Most of our municipalities were dysfunctional. In the Northwest alone, previously we had over 10 municipalities that were dysfunctional. Our municipalities, by the way, they were not spending their grants, whether it's Arbik, it's Wisig, it's MIC, INEP and so on. They were unable to spend those grants because there was no capacity. As we speak today, very few of these municipalities are failing to spend their grants. The majority of them are now spending their grants. We had serious challenges, of course, of service delivery. Aging infrastructure, sewer leakages, and so on. And we are attending to those challenges. And I'm quite happy that most of these municipalities are now focused on issues of service delivery.
I must first indicate that I came into the department in 2019, in 2018, just before the 29 national and provincial elections of 2019, to the department appointed by the then Premier Job Mokgoro. The department was placed under administration for a period of 2 to 3 years. The intervention in terms of Section 101B was carried over to 2019. I must say that there were a lot of challenges because as the MEC, you did not exercise the executive authority. But immediately after the lifting of the intervention, I can say that there were great strides that we made.
What a journey. There were ups and downs when I became the MEC of Department of Education. Remember, from the 7th of December 2022, I had to make a difference. Then I was approached, or I was confronted with so many challenges in the Department of Education. One of the things that I've identified as the MEC was that The department is one of the largest departments ever compared to other departments. And the core mandate, as much as, is to deliver quality education to our learners. But there were many obstacles along the way where I had to start to deal with the issue of infrastructure, where I had to deal with the issue of curriculum generally in order to improve the results in this particular department. It is not only that, there were so many issues regarding issues of educators, where they were raising so many challenges to say that the environment where they are working, actually the environment was not conducive at all. Because I've realized that since the dawn of democracy, in terms of number of learners, it has been increasing to a point where we were encountering challenges of overcrowding in many schools in the Northwest. Remember, I'm dealing with close to 1,745 schools across the province. And the systems, they were not up to standard. And I had to make sure that before anything else, I develop a strong team, because without team education alone, I don't think we would have been where we are today.
It has been quite a 5-year. It has been quite a journey. You'd remember that I was once in agriculture and then I left, and when I came back, things were not the same again. And in 2019, when I arrived at the department, it was just at the brink of collapse. Employees were demoralized, systems were not in place. It was just something that I don't know. The province was sitting at the most at 1.9 million people who are food insecure. I'm glad to say that we have reduced that drastically as the department, because we came in and established about 8 programs in the department on how do we refocus agriculture. And you know very well that it's difficult when there are no systems where you come in, having to start with systems, and it takes long. And having to deal with the staff with low morale, you have to be tough and strong to ensure that happens.
Now, one of the major challenges I was faced with, or I'm facing with in the department, is SAPS, South African Police Services. As part of playing our oversight or monitoring of the police, or coordinating the police, most of police stations in the province, there is a shortage of personnel. The minister is aware of police, the provincial commissioner is aware, and the national commissioner is aware. Together we are addressing the matter. Secondly, the challenge in those police stations is vehicles. There is a shortage of vehicles. You find in one police station, instead of using 4 vehicles, they are using 2. So it's a major challenge. But also, as I said, everything is national for SAPS. We have reported these matters. They are receiving an urgent attention.
For me, having 1 year and 6 months in the Department of Arts, Culture, Sports and Recreation, it has been quite an experience, both from understanding the sector and working and collaborating with different stakeholders to ensure that we succeed in our mandate of executing the policies that would have been outlined nationally, the National Sports and Recreation Plan, the White Paper on Arts, Culture and Museums, the Creative Industry Master Plan, amongst others.
There were no systems in place, more especially for our entities. You know that we have 3 entities that we are managing as department. So there were no systems in place that can assist. As department, you know that we are Department of Economic Development. So the challenges were that the systems that were there were not assisting us as department. I also went through the inability to execute the economic development because the departments also did not have an economist. and province is expecting us as department to make sure that the economy of this province grows.
When I joined the department, the acting premier then appointed me on a department that had some serious challenges. We had to go there and provide administrative and political leadership. There was a team set up by the Premier's office under Dr. Fezile Ngobe and myself. We went there to provide that leadership. We did not really start the administration. We were there last year, I think around July, if I'm not wrong, up to today. That's one part that we dealt with. Secondly, you'll recall that there was a labor protest every week in that department. When I arrived, there was fire to the entire building next to or adjacent to the MEC's office. There were unlawful suspensions done by the MEC and the HOD. There were non-payments of NPO's trenches in terms of their funding, no signatures attached to service level agreements and so on. So there was also lack of a coordinated, integrated plan in the department.
Let me tell you that in terms of being welcomed, I was welcomed, though in most instances, some welcomed me with reservations. You know, most health, traditionally, they believe in anything that has to do with your background, but when I leave with my head very high, because I know that which I was deployed for by the African National Congress, I have performed it to the best of my ability, and you can see it on how the department functions. The first component is that if you are in health, because of the dominance of employees, you would need to have a very good working relationship with unions, which I had done up until the last time. The second component is that the management of health is too complicated because you have both administration and you have a clinical component. You would have to manage both areas with sensitivity they deserve. But remember, when we got in, it was during the time of the Section 100A, Section 100B in our instance. And we have worked very well with the National Department of Health to improve what were the challenges that made the Department of Health to be under Section 100B. As I speak with you today, let's take the Mafikeng Provincial Hospital, the reason for the Section 100AB. That at a particular time there was an issue of labor tensions to a level where employees had withdrawn their labor and the military health had to come in and perform services.
Reflecting on some of the key successes.
We must indicate that we have done a lot as the provincial government to provide our people with proper housing. As we speak today, over 88% of our people in the Northwest, they live in formal dwellings. And you will recall that when we started in 1996, the houses that we are building were quite small. And over time, we took a decision that it will be important for us to build proper housing for our people. That is why we even changed the name from the RDP houses to BNGs, which is breaking new grounds. Overall, just in the Northwest Province, we have built over 300,000 BNGs. We have built over 5,000 CRUs, social housing, and so on. And those houses, they have electricity, there is water that is running, and our people who were living in backyards before, who were living in informal settlements, they now have a place that they can call a home. But equally, we have also issued more than 40,000 title deeds in the Northwest, and we are proceeding to do so, because every Friday in our program, which is called Tunza Lerole, we are issuing out title deeds in each and every municipality, in each and every village, in each and every township that we visit. So that is bringing back the dignity of our people. They now know that the houses that they are living in is their house, they own it. They can go to a bank if they want to borrow money, because they have now this document that indicates that that house belongs to them. And most of these houses, by the way, the value is over 300,000, most of them. So which means our people can borrow money and do other things and so on out of this work that has been done by this government. And we are quite happy and quite excited about it.
Among other highlights as a department, you know, the minister, when he speaks, he say, if you want to understand beekeeping, go to the Northwest. We came in with 5 beekeepers. Today we are having over 100 beekeepers. We have supported them. We have been on the global space on beekeeping. We have been attending Apimondia. And one of the good things that we did, we have supported, because at some stage I was leading the team in Chile, in bargaining for Tanzania to host for the first time Apimondia be held in the soil of Africa. Tanzania will be hosting in 2027, and through our effort and our engagement in the global space, and I'm proud of that, and we engage to have a good relationship with Tanzania, especially on beekeeping. It has improved food security, it has improved value chain. Our farmers also, they are having a good market around beekeeping.
Establishment of the new unit in the trade department. The unit is called the Eagles. The Eagles has landed. We have major roads in the province. You are N4, N12, and N18. Now, we have bought more than 30 BMWs, including Polos. We have appointed for now 60 officers who are employed as part of this new unit, the Eagles. They are working 24/7 in all the highways and major roads in the province, where we think here we must put attention so that our people can be safe. For an example, there was a serious challenge around Sun City Road, where people who are visiting Sun City, some of them are hijacks, some of them they don't feel safe to travel from Pretoria to Sun City. But after the appointment of the Eagles, people are happy, people are safe. You can travel from Brest, from Rustenburg, from Pretoria to Sun City, being safe. And then the Eagles is a special unit because they also, when we have serious protest, they come as a backup for the police. When we have some people closing roads, burning tires, they are there to back up and assist the police. Now this is the most important special unit to deal with some disruptions in the province. They also make sure they minimize fighting of people in the province.
I'm told by people who've been longer in the institution that I am the second MEC for finance in the Northwest in the last 30 years of our democracy who has finished a 5-year term without being reshuffled. The first one is it's MEC Martin Kaskas, who has served 2 terms from 1994. He served 1994 to 1999, 1999 to 2004, uninterrupted. and other MECs who came, they've been there, but then they have served, like the former Premier Maureen Mutsel, she was an MEC for Finance, but in the midterm she was reshuffled. So I'm the second MEC after the MEC Kaskas to finish the term without being reshuffled. And that has showed that when there's stability within the Treasury, you are able to provide more support to the department. So I'm thankful also for that, and I'm thankful to the ANC-led government for this responsibility. I'll forever be grateful for the responsibility of serving our people. And to our people out there, they must not give up on us. We are still ready to ensure that we consolidate the budget that speaks to their needs and that speaks to their vision and that speaks to their future.
As a province, we have done well. Many of our athletes have competed internationally and have dominated the international competition. We've seen with the Special Olympics recently, Northwest Province contributed significantly to the outcomes of the broader Team South Africa to Special Olympics. And we, even gymnastics in the World Games, more than 60 to 70% of the team, South African team, was athletes from the province. And we have again now athletes who are going to compete and who have qualified in the Olympics, Tsepo Tsipe amongst others. And we are very proud as well of the Comrades Marathon. You know, for the first time we made it in the Comrades Marathon was with Steve Kelehe. And what is interesting is that in that school in Sikking, now recently, Onalena Nkokobe is also from that school in Sikking, who has won the Two Oceans Marathon this year. And it shows that in marathon we are doing well in the track and field as the province. We have also, the Tetijana who have defended the Comrades Marathon title in the last year, and we hope that even this coming Comrades Marathon, one of our provincial athletes will make it, because last year in the top 10 we had about 6 6 athletes from the province who have made it.
We managed to appoint many officials with relevant skills that I think as the MEC they will be able to assist us. We are still appointing even now the relevant officials that they can assist us as department. We managed to launch the Operation Latela Molao. We had a problem as government nationally and provincially with the foreigners that were selling the goods that were not good for consumers. So we managed to launch that operation, and that operation assisted us because we even appointed the data capturers, that when we are not on the ground as department, as government, they are there to assist us because they are all over the province and they are capturing data day in, day out, and they are giving us those information so that we can at least manage. We are done with the application of the SCZ. You will know that SCZ has 10 years in place as a province. Now we managed to meet with Minister Patel, and then the application, we are now done with the application. We are waiting for them to give us a license so that the province can now operate at Budirelo in Mukwase.
Successes in this department can be limited on our core mandate. I can tell you, once I aligned the department with the manifesto of the ANC, which is the leading party in government, I realized that we are on track. We have accessed elderly people in many ways through different programs. In our state-run day centers, we have also have programs that relates to aging programs for elderly people. We also have programs that relates to psychosocial support that we provide to our elderly people. We also, on our young people, we also have youth care centers where we take care of all youth who are in conflict with the law. We provide them safety. We also provide them psychosocial services. We have programs that relates to social relief, distress. We've got programs that speaks to provision of sanitary towels and dignity packs. We've got programs that speaks to a number of interventions that government does. So I'm saying, as far as comprehensive social security is concerned, the department has successfully, in the past 5 years, in my view, managed to reach its target.
I develop a strong team, because without team education alone, I don't think we would have been where we are today. That is why today I'm happy to announce that from position 5, regardless of the challenges, we ended up being on position 4. And we are still planning ahead in making sure that we are part of the top 3 in this particular academic year. So the most important thing that I mastered when I became the MEC was to develop a strong team. And then indeed, at the end, I managed to develop that particular strong team. Remember, having the new MEC, having the new team, first and foremost, you have to adapt to the environment. And I had to adapt fast because time was no longer on our side. So through that particular process of having a stronger team in the Department of Education, at least I've managed to start with the infrastructure, because that's where actually we are encountering a serious challenge. Our infrastructure, actually, it has aged. Most of our schools are not in good conditions. So where we started, we had to have our conditional assessment report, where it guided us in terms of the department where we can start. That is why this year, May, we've managed to hand over more than 10 schools all over the province, and we've managed to introduce some contractors to different sites as an indication that as a department we have appointed a contractor who will finally build school for our communities.
Remember, this is the term we're closing where there was COVID outbreak. We've been one of the best provinces on managing COVID. One thing that people do not know is that, and it's not said this thing in public, we were the first provincial cabinet to take a decision on how to manage COVID even before the president convened the first meeting to decide on management of COVID for the country. Which means when the president, a week after our provincial cabinet took a decision, when the president decided to have management process for COVID, we already were ready as the province because we took a decision earlier on before, just as the outbreak was coordinated by World Health Organization and all other agencies. We took a decision on how EXCO's response on that COVID. And we came out of COVID as a better structured department because all of a sudden, in terms of the infrastructure, COVID helped us improve on infrastructure. All of a sudden, now you had every hospital having a ventilator, every clinic having a ventilator, which was a matter that came during COVID because COVID was more on respiratory problems than many other things.
Defining Accelerated Service Delivery Program Tunza Leruli, experiences learned since it was introduced in this administration to speed up service delivery in the province.
Tunza Leruli is part of us communicating with our people on the successes, what government is doing on a daily basis. And actually what we are doing, we are just accelerating services because services are done daily, but we are just doing them with much better speed.
I believe in succession, and I believe in handing over, and I believe in continuity. I believe that what has been founded, the base that has been founded by the sixth administration, we must build on that. And Tunza Leruli is part of the lessons that we have learned, that we need to, there are lessons that we've learned, and we need to take those lessons with us going forward in building a strong service delivery program.
Tunza Leruli for me it assists department to ensure that they follow up on the work that they have done, is to ensure that we make sure services arrive to the relevant people. Today we are proud to that every Friday we are handing over project.
I remember through Tunzale Rule, I was able to see gore, indeed all the schools are in need of Wi-Fi for them to access internet. Whether you are in deep rural areas, those particular learners also and educators are entitled to internet, because through internet you are able to access each and every information that you need.
I must say that this was a very good and great initiative by the acting premier. This is a very exciting program also. But also what does this program does is ensure that it brings the leadership, your elected, your public representative, and your management accounting officers of the department. It brings them to the ground, bring them closer to the people. We interact with the people, we know what are the challenges and all that. So if we go to the community, we are able to give them feedback about services that we would have rendered to them in a very integrated way, unlike having one department calling a community meeting. The advantage is that we are able to account under the leadership of the Premier as government, not as department.
Tunzale Rule, we were able to work even with the municipalities, with the private sectors, and I think even now, the private sectors now are more than ready to work with us in this Tunzale Rule. As you know that even when we are in all municipalities, they're always there assisting us. As you know that the budget of the Northwest Province is just too little to can also help our people. So I agree that the Tunzale Rule must continue, because it showed us this is where we can give our people the service delivery direct to where they are.
The program has to continue, because this is the only program that deals with that principle of the ANC of taking government to the people. It's this program of Tunzale Rule. And it has helped on the basis that Tunzale Rule means acting now.
The issue of water, the issue of sanitation, the issue of roads, the issue of scholar patrol, the issue of visibility of police in the province, they are now moving at the right pace because of Tunzale Rule. When we arrive at the place or at the village, township, we make sure that things which are not done properly, we correct them.
Tunzale Rule is an important program, very important, because with that program, we are putting the district development model into action and into practice. With that program, national departments are participating, the provincial department is participating, the district municipalities are participating, the local municipalities are participating. And the focus is on service delivery issues, to attend to issues of potholes, to attend to water leakages, sewer spillages, and so on. So it is doing wonders, by the way. But at the same time, there was a very serious problem of interaction between government and our communities. Now, after each and every program, we convene community meetings in order for government to report back to its constituency about the work that we are doing, the challenges that we are facing, and the plans that we are going to put in place in order to navigate through those challenges. This program has been received positively, not only in the province, by the way, in the entire country. People are quite excited about it. They are saying this is what we needed. And this program, by the way, it is going to proceed even after elections, because it is a program which was initiated by the ruling party, and the ruling party, obviously, it is coming back, which therefore suggests that this program is going to be a permanent program of the government for as long as we are in power.
We will be dropping lengthy individual departmental reflection by all MECs as from tomorrow on all our social media platforms. Thank you for watching.